Hello, I'm Forest Focus for our deadline day phone-in, as we hope to hear from Nottingham Forest fans giving their thoughts on what's happening, what might happen with the Reds in the hours leading up to 11 p.m. tonight when the transfer window slams shut, as they say in all the cliches. We'll run through the deals of the day and give a few headlines. I'll chat with Greg Mitchell a little bit, and I'll drop the link for recording in the chat, and hopefully a few people who are watching along will jump on and have their say on transfers, the Wolves game, whatever you want, really. But Greg Mitchell, how are you?
I'm good. I'm going to believe everything in the chat. So if you see anything before we do, whack it in there, and I'm sure I'll be all over it.
Oh,
but, yeah, I'm good.
Good. Drop some rumours in. Yeah, it is quite exciting. It's slightly terrifying as well. But
not the new Nottingham Forest.
I know. Just before we kick off, thanks very much to Simon Gill for becoming a member. Appreciate that very much, Simon. Very good of you. Right. The big talking point is Anthony Elanga. There was a panic. Hopefully there's not a panic anymore. I'll go through that. So, yes, Anthony Elanga to Newcastle. Lots of Talk Sports, Alex Crook, a man of infamy, I think, amongst Forest fans, saying it was very likely to happen that he would go for 35 million. And then it seems to have been played down by other journos. More recently, Craig Hope, who works for the Mail, who's their Newcastle reporter, saying it was too short on time. And then David Ornstein's just been talking about how they offered basically Almiron plus cash, and it's gone nowhere. So that's the headline. Other deals include James Ward-Prowse joining on loan, hopefully. Morato, £15 million deal for the Benfica central defender. Matt Turner to Palace. Potentially, hopefully. Amazingly, Liverpool didn't take the offer to take him and us by Kelleher. And Josh Bowler to Preston. That has happened. Season-long loan. He's out of contract at the end of the season, so that's probably him done with us without ever playing a game after he signed when we won promotion. And then the striker search looks unlikely after all these deals for all these bids for Omar Marmoush. The Frankfurt striker were knocked back. So I don't think we'll get anyone in. So I'll ask Greg about a couple of bits, and then I'm going to drop the link in. Elanga, Greg, relief, panic?
Not happening, is it? Some of the chat saying Elanga off. I think they mean it's off. The deal's off.
I hope so.
But yeah, we've been as clear as anything. Under no circumstances, they're saying, and that's our new way, isn't it? If we don't need to sell one of our prize assets, you don't. A bit late in the day to come out with that curveball. Maybe they thought they were a little bit weaker than we are, but by all accounts it looks like that's a non-starter, and it's also a message to everyone else about our players. If you're serious about doing it, don't go in with like a normal bid. It's going to have to be astronomical, or like we've said, it's not happening at all. So happy with that. Squashed it as soon as it started, really.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, there's still just enough time in the window, I think, to do some mad deals, but I can't see it just with fees, medicals, contract signings.
I still believe we'll sign a striker. It's Forest. We love the last minute yellow bar.
I think it's more likely we'll end up with like Depay or someone like that next week on a free. But just before I ask Greg another question, I'm going to drop the link in. So click on this link if you want to join us. You'll come into the studio and I'll see you, and then I'll add you in for 5 minutes or so. Have your say. Don't feel scared. We're all very nice. Here we go.
Depends who it is. If it's someone like my mate Steve, I'm not sure about that. So,
well, he won't be very upbeat at all. While we wait for people to join us, touch wood. What about Almiron plus? Let's say Almiron plus 35 million. Would you just completely knock that back?
Yeah. I don't want to lose Elanga. He's key. He's one side of our brilliant attack that are really building this fantastic relationship, and I think it'd have to take something astronomical with the opportunity to get someone equally as good or a bit more with more potential. It's a non-starter for us, and I'm so glad Nuno and the recruitment team have quashed it straight away, because he's such a key part. So I don't know. We could eat our words, couldn't we? It's Forest, but I'd be absolutely amazed now if it went through.
Oh, gosh, the phone lines are lighting up. We've got 6 people waiting to jump in, so we'll just go straight into it. Sort of first come, first serve. Give everyone a couple of minutes, have your say, and then we'll let you go. David Poole, you were first up. How are you doing?
You surprised me. I'm doing great, thank you. Just got back from holiday. Lovely to see both of you. Thanks very much for all the work you've done this year. And just Greg, I love it, by the way, Greg, how you represent Forest from a fan's point of view, how you get out there on TalkSport and TV and have to put up with Neville and Carragher.
Yeah.
You need a medal, mate, and we need the Matt Davies Podcast Medal Award. And
Oh yeah, I like that.
He wouldn't win it.
A mug would do, if I'm honest. But I know.
Mugs out. That's temps.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about Elanga or anything else, David? How are you feeling about it all?
Isn't it fantastic that we've just knocked them back? This is the best transfer window that we've ever had. We've kept Murillo, we've kept Gibbs White. We're saying no, we keep our best players. And what a message that sends out to anybody that wants to join Nottingham Forest from these teams in South America and anywhere else around the world. Why do you want to go to Nottingham Forest? Because we want to go and win trophies. And we will not win trophies if we sell our best players. And by saying no to Newcastle is a big statement of intent. I'm absolutely delighted. It'd be great if we can get a striker in, like you said, Depay, Martial. But you know they come with a little bit of concern, and I'm not sure if those types of players are good for us. If you look at, we'll take Elanga again. If you look at how well he's settled into this club, he has become a heartbeat of the club. Just look when the goal at against Newcastle, they rush over to Elanga. This guy speaks 5 languages. The players absolutely love him, and we really are building a wonderful dressing room, and that's what I've got to say. And I just want to say thanks, chaps, for doing an awesome job and being, in my opinion, the best football podcast out there.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Well, what do you think about what David, not the best football podcast or your great Greg Mitchell, what do you think about what David says about football and ambitions there, Greg?
I hadn't thought about it like that, in the fact that what are other players looking at when they see a football club? Well, we hang on to our best players. And it was like Jimenez being told by that absolute plonker Pierre Van Hooijdonk that you shouldn't go to Nottingham Forest. You know, well, look what he did. So what's his reputation like? But there's players now that will say, well, Nottingham Forest aren't relegation fodder, they're building. And it's going to be beneficial to us in January if we've kept this squad together, and then we've got up that league and looks like we're not going to be anywhere near the relegation zone. Then we can get that next level of player, that Jimenez and that Nketiah for the next year. Obviously, it won't be those two. We should hopefully be done with them now if they don't want to come now. But, you know, we can go for that step up again, which is what he wants. That's what we want to do, just build.
There's a silver lining there with Pierre coming in and having that conversation. He's turned the player off. Was it the right player in the first place?
Yeah, true.
You're getting a little influence from somebody that played for us 25 years ago that didn't happen to like us, that still has a chip on his shoulder. What does that actually say about the player Jimenez, who was more than linked with the club? So, thank you, Pierre. Don't like you, but you've done us a favour.
Excellent. Right, David, there's loads of people waiting. I was a bit panicked and everyone would be here, but I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers,
well
David.
done for being first man up. Appreciate it.
All the best. Well done.
Right, thank you very much as well to Jason for becoming a member. Very kind of you. Let me find where there's loads of comments coming in. This is really good. There's 430 people watching. Do us a favour and hit like on the video as well if you haven't already. We'll move on to the next caller. Hello, Joseph. How are you?
Hello.
Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm a huge fan of your podcast. Listen to it a lot. Great podcast. I like the stuff you come out with, and really helpful to be updated on the transfer news and everything.
No, that's great. That's great.
Cheers,
thank you. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm really happy with the Ward-Prowse signing. I think he's a proper technician. I think he's hopefully he'll fit our set piece problem, get Milenkovic on a few headers. And I think he's very good passer of the ball. And I think set pieces is something that we've lacked, especially in the attack. And it's another way we could score goals possibly. And I think that would be great, having a proper technician like Ward-Prowse. And I also think with the striker situation, yes, I would have liked another striker like Nketiah or Jimenez, but we could play false nine. So like Gibbs White, if he works on his finishing, Elanga possibly, Jota Silva, don't know much about him. But yeah, I think we're a very good transfer window. Happy with what we've done so far.
Joseph makes 2 good points there, Greg. Lots of good points, but 2 really good points. Milenkovic on set pieces with Ward-Prowse whipping them in. I mean, that's an exciting prospect because he's already looked a threat, hasn't he?
Yeah. And, the West Ham fans that, they've not been that happy with Ward-Prowse, when he's playing outfield. But we have been desperate for that set piece king. And he's still arguably, he's top 3 or 4 set piece takers in the league, isn't he? That's what the main reason that West Ham signed him in the first place. Every time he got a corner against us, you think, oh no, here we go. And to have that threat, this time last year, you'd never have thought we'd got a player like him. So is it finalised yet? I don't think it's been announced yet.
I don't think it's been announced yet.
It's all but, and a fantastic signing. And we've got the players for his deliveries, and that's the key.
And the second point that I liked and I agreed with was, and lots of people agreeing with you, Joseph, in the chat, if you can see it or not. Jota Silva I think he'd be more of a striker. I think he can play that role. He sort of demonstrated that on Wednesday night, just with his work rate and putting himself about, I thought, didn't he?
Yeah, and what a finish as well. Absolute cracker of a finish. And yeah, he was very good. He tracked back, something we don't see a lot with Hudson-Odoi. And very good. He looked a threat. He was everywhere. He looked like a youngster, raw talent who wants to be here, there, and everywhere. And that's something we need. Someone energetic. And I love the celebration. And I think he could be a great signing if we get the most out of him and find out maybe if he's a winger or striker. And hopefully, he can be very versatile across the front line.
Anything else that we need in the transfer window? Then, if we don't get a striker, are you looking at and thinking, oh, there's something else we should be buying, Joseph, that would disappoint you, or are you dead happy with it all?
I'm pretty happy, but maybe a goalie, because Miguel, I mean, he made some good saves, but he didn't quite convince me. Like that first save he spilled and went straight to Willock. And also his distribution, he looked a bit shaky at times. I know it's his debut and it's a bit early to judge a player, but I think Keller doesn't look like we're getting him, but a goalie would be a very good signing. But other than that, I'm pretty happy.
Excellent. Give us a prediction for the Wolves game before I let you go.
Oh, tight, but they have lost their best player Neto. I think 2-1. They'll score first, and Silva will come on and score the winner, and Wood will score.
You are most popular columnist contributor already. The people are loving you, so I might boot Greg off and keep you on.
Well, I'm just going to say, talking of signing, sign Joseph up before someone else gets hold of him. Now that was brilliant.
I'll be a passion merchant like Yates.
There we go. Get him on. See you later.
Cheers. Bye.
That's a great line. Cheers, line. Right,
Jay.
I'm going to let you go. Good lad. Well done. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, what a lad. That was brilliant.
I know. That was a great call. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, he did really well. So, yeah, well done, Joseph. Do keep dropping in. There's loads of people waiting to join us, which is fantastic. Next up, Scott, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Matt. How are you? And firstly, I just want to say well done, Joseph. That was a brilliant call.
How big boots to fill now.
Yeah,
no pressure.
I mean, he's blimey, a lad full of confidence. But I mean, yeah, that was a really great call. Yeah, like you said, Greg, I got massive boots to fill. Yeah, I think I'm on the same page as young Joseph. Ward-Prowse, a fantastic signing. Another route for goals. As well as creating chances for our forward line. But we do need to get a striker. That is so important now. I mean, there's talks about this Morata coming as well at centre back. I don't know what the plan is with that, but I think striker is so key. I think now, it's not it's not the third. It's not someone who's going to be a third choice. We need someone who's willing to step up to be the first choice and make it more competitive for Awoniyi and for Wood, because that front line needs to be competitive. Because in the past, when we've had that competitive line, we've had goals in us which pushed us up the league.
What did you make of Awoniyi on Wednesday, Greg?
Like I said before, he needs more time. He does. You can just tell he needs more time. There was glimpses, had a lot of minutes, which was great, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see him start. The penalty was obviously really poor, and that would have hurt him, I'd imagine. But he needs that goal and he needs that confidence, and then he'll be back, because he still had a bit of pace. He still, shown signs. But I think the penalties shaded a lot of our views from Wednesday, if I'm honest, because he felt like he was just about getting back into it in patches, but he's still not there yet. You'd say he's like 70% the person he has been in previous games.
If we don't get a striker, Scott, does that alarm you for the rest of the season, or are you pretty chilled?
Well, it'll be alarming if if Wood gets injured. I think that will be the alarming part. But it's going to take Awoniyi probably a month to get anywhere near to his best again, because he didn't look fully fit. I mean, probably in the first half he did make some good moves, but he just didn't have that grit about him to what he normally has, because when you saw him making that run in the first half, and when he's done similar runs like like against Manchester United last year, he looked more of a threat, but like Newcastle managed to deal with it. And but we know Awoniyi on a good day is a massive handful for any defender in that league. Yeah.
Just follow up on that, Greg. I'm just reading about a signing we've made. Don't get excited, everyone. It's a youth signing, but just talk about if you think there's a way back for Taiwo. A few fans are saying there isn't. Do you still have faith that if he just gets games, he'll be all right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's had such an injury hit couple of years. Of course, this time back for him, he's still got age. He's still got those skills. You don't just lose them. No. We're short term, and we all do it, and I do it. We're short term thinking on Taiwo and thinking it's gone where it hasn't. We're at the very start of the season. It takes time for these strikers to get a goal or two, and then suddenly they're off.
Look at Kevin Campbell, for example. I mean, it took him a couple of seasons to get goals in him. I mean, in his first season, he scores a goal, then gets injured, and it takes him like 6 or 7 weeks to get back to his best again, and then gets injured again. And that's how it was in his first couple of seasons. But then when we was in the first division, he was scoring goals for fun. So it might just be, hopefully, if he does get back into full fitness again, he might just, get a few goals in him. Hopefully, double figures at least.
So the player we've signed is it's an academy sign, Christian Fletcher. I don't know if people have seen it. Signed from DC United on a season-long loan. Insert your mutie on the bounty jokes yourselves. 19 years old, 28 appearances for DC United. And I imagine we'll have a look at him and potentially turn it into a permanent deal. Spent time at Swansea last season. Right, Scott, lots of people waiting, so I'll let you go. But thanks for stepping up again.
Scott.
Yeah, take care, guys. Cheers.
Okay, thank you to who else signed up to be a member? Dan White. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that. Very good of you. I'll take rattle through these calls, but I do want to just take a quick word for the NAV for all their support. Here we go. There it is. Obviously, we're playing Wolves tomorrow. It feels a million years away because the next few hours are going to age us all. But do get down straight after the game for the Oasis and gig. There'd be a top-class evening, I'm sure. I think we'll beat Wolves, so everyone should be in a good mood, want to attend. Right, next caller. Your camera's not working, but we'll give it a good go. That's fine. As long as we can hear you, should be all right. Gary, Gary Voldy, whatever your real name is, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks, Matt. Echoing the callers before. Really great coverage all around. Keep up the good work, guys.
No worries at all. What do you want to talk about?
So I want to go through the 25-man squad numbers. So with Turner on the way out, we've got Sells and Carlos Miguel as two keepers. Then for centre backs, we've got Murillo, Milenkovic, Bamadele, Boli, and then Morata coming in, plus Abbott, who doesn't count towards the limits. So we're up to 7 there. Fullbacks, Nico Williams, Toth, Moreno, Aina, Moreira doesn't count to the limit. So that's up to 11. Centre mids, Sangare, Yates, Ward-Prowse on the way in. Dominguez, Danilo, Anderson, Gibbs, White. So that's 18. Wide forwards, Hudson-Odoi, Jota Silva, Alanga, Sosa is up to 22. And then we've got two forwards with Awoniyi and Wood. So that really only leaves us with one spot left to fill. And considering we've got just 2 guys up front and two goalies, I wonder who number 25 will be, because we've got that youngster Murray Jones, the goalie we got from Man City. Would he be our third choice? or would we be looking to bring in, another move for Kelleher, or, I'm a bit stumped to who the last number would be, or if we bring in another goalie and a forward, would there be one person going out?
I think we've got the young keeper who played in pre-season. Is it Aaron Bott? But I think we might sign someone, and I wonder if Danilo isn't registered. We don't have to do it again until January, which would free up a second spot. I suppose, Greg, the other alternative is we do what we did to poor old Steve Cook, and maybe it's, I don't know, Emmanuel Dennis, probably someone like that would miss out. It's an interesting point that's raised, isn't it, though? If we can't sign 3 players, we necessarily without making some tough calls.
I think we couldn't do what we did with Cook, because can you remember the week after we desperately needed a defender? So yeah, they'll have a plan. It's not gung ho like it used to be. They'll know exactly the numbers, and I have full faith in them, to be honest. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Anything else you want to add before we let you go, Gary?
Well, I actually I'm an Italian red, so just to weigh in on the pizza conversation that happened earlier on. My favourite's thinly sliced potatoes with crumbled bits of sausage.
Absolutely sensational. Thinly sliced potatoes on a pizza. That's a lot of carbs, but no, very good.
That's really good.
Very good. Right, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate that, especially coming on. I know you had a few technical issues, so that's very good of you. Right, I'm going to drop the link in again, just for if anyone wants to join us, because I dropped it in so far up the chat. So do jump in the queue if you want to. There's lots to say. There's a couple of people more waiting, but 2 more people waiting, so there's room for more if you want to jump on. Martin, thank you for your patience. How are you doing?
Good, lads. Thanks for having me on. Love the podcast. Just really want to word in on the whole Taiwo situation, really. I think a lot of fans are writing him off a bit too soon. It's clearly not an injury issue at the minute. It's more a fitness issue, getting minutes into his legs. Otherwise, he wouldn't have played the full 90 the other night. So I just think fans need to get off his back a small bit. And just with his injury worries, I think he needs to take a bit of responsibility for his own fitness as well. Just with last season, he went off on international duty. He wasn't fully fit, and then come back, and he was gone for the season. So,
yeah, I mean, we rushed him back from injury as well. There's a few things there that, played into it, I think, certainly. I mean, do you think if we don't sign a striker, is there any silver lining that would help Taiwo get fit because he get minutes? There's a lot of risk around that because he'd need to stay fit, but is that one potential benefit, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, if he could play half an hour for the next few weeks, but then Chris Ward isn't getting any younger. And there was a few times last season when he was playing 90 minutes, Chris Ward, and I was just thinking, he could pull up with a hamstring here any minute, and then we'd be snookered. We wouldn't have anyone. But I think playing with a false 9, we tried it a few times the first year we were in the Premier League, and it didn't work. And I know we've different players now and everything, but we tried a Langer up there last season. He just kept getting caught offside. So
which of the strikers, Greg, would you have wanted us to sign that we're linked with? Nketiah, Jimenez, Marmoush, or I didn't know anything about it, to be honest, by the end.
I liked the Nketiah link just because that stat that came out about his goal involvement with every time he played with Arsenal, it was like 30-odd%, wasn't it? It was ridiculous. But Jimenez would have been nice as well. But now I've seen his true colours. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, there's still a few hours left. I think by the time the late crew come on, we'll be talking about something completely different, and there'll be someone out there we haven't even mentioned yet.
Yeah, I do think that's true. What about you, Martin? If there was a name that you would have wanted to bring in as a striker,
it probably would have been Nketiah, really, because a bit of a less risk. I know probably with wages and everything, it would have been a bit more expensive. But I mean, I don't really look at YouTube highlights because I don't know, can you remember Lika that we signed? Must be 10 years ago. I looked at YouTube highlights of him and he looked unbelievable. And then he was absolutely rubbish. But I did look at Jimenez's YouTube highlights. There's a lot of suspect defending and a lot of suspect goalkeeping in the Dutch league, it seems. So I just think the Nketiah one would have been less risk. But if the player doesn't want to come, then there's no point in trying to persuade him otherwise. That's my feeling. If you want to sign a player, no matter what club you are, they're going to want to come. The first contact is made. You shouldn't need to try and convince them because they're just not a right fit. Then,
Do you think
the Van Hooijdonk thing? Like, he loved Forest when he was trying to get his son in the door a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his son's playing in like the second division in Italy now, isn't he? So
yeah,
no, he plays for Norwich? He plays for Norwich, doesn't he?
Correct
me if I'm wrong. In the chat, I thought he signed for Norwich. Sydney Van Hooijdonk. Just checking Twitter, seeing if there's something happening. Is that the real Fabrizio Romano? Is my few people saying that we're trying to sign?
I'm on him now. It's not coming up on mine.
No, it's not coming up. Oh, if we are actually trying to sign the Lyon winger Nuama, then we'll follow that up, obviously. But I'd be surprised.
Yeah, someone's tweeted it and just tagged him in. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting.
And is the Elanga deal definitely off? Is it definitely? Have they definitely turned them down?
Definitely.
No, I don't know about definitely. I don't know about definitely. I put it at like 75% off, which is pretty good at this time. It's 6:30. It's very.
So they're saying it's on his podcast. So maybe it is true. Dan's a trusty guy. He wouldn't let us down.
Yeah. We'll monitor that one. Ernest Nuama. I think he would probably come as well as Elanga. I don't know. We'll see. Well, like Greg said, we'll see in the next 2 hours. Right, Martin, I'm going to let you go. Very much. Appreciate you logging on.
Cheers, Martin.
Yeah.
Right. Stuart Smart, it says your devices aren't connected. So you probably, if you need to connect at least your mic to come in, camera's better, but it's not essential. Gordon's also waiting, no camera. Right. Next caller is even younger than Jacob, I would say, looking at this. Archie, how are you?
Good today. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. How old are you?
I am 8 and about a half.
Those halves count when you're 8, to be fair. What do you want to say about Forest?
Just sign a striker or just sign someone who another centre mid, because I've been trying to decide what I'd put in the Wolves team, but I couldn't really decide because we've only got 3 people who aren't injured, so we need someone else at least because of Danilo.
Because Danilo's injured. You're right.
Yes.
James Ward-Prowse, is he the answer, Greg? James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, because
well done, Archie. By the way,
I've been having a look at his free kicks on YouTube, and he's actually doing really good curled shots at it. So I'm hoping for the best with our set pieces this year. Hopefully, just fingers crossed, we get a striker to finish it off.
Who's your favourite Forest player?
Morgan Gibbs-White, because he can track back, but he can score goals at the same time.
Love it. Good knowledge. Right, Archie, I'm going to ask Greg one question, and then you can come back and say something cleverer than Greg. What do you think about Ward-Prowse, Greg? Is he the answer?
I think he's the answer because exactly like Archie says, his free kicks, his set pieces, you only have to look on YouTube to see them. They are absolutely lethal. And that is what we've missed. When's the last time we scored a direct free kick? When's the last time, we scored direct from a corner? It's crucial in the modern game. And someone who puts the fear in defenders, because we've played against him in the Championship and in the Premier League, I think. And it's frightening when you've got someone that key and that's strong with something like that Archie's right. It could be absolutely crucial to us.
2 more questions, Archie, before I let you go. Will Morgan play even better tomorrow because he's been called to the England squad? Will that make him play better, do you think?
Yeah, because it will up his confidence a bit. So hopefully he gets a goal. So because when England are playing, I'm probably going to be watching and seeing him play, and Forest as well.
Super.
He's like a crucial. He's like our best player other than Elanga or James Ward-Prowse, but he's like a brilliant player. Yes.
James Ward-Prowse is in our team already. I love it. I love it. Right. Last question, Archie. What's the score going to be against Wolves tomorrow?
2-1, I would say.
Great.
2-1.
Right. You've done super well. It's very brave of you to do that. You should be very proud of yourself. I'm going to let you go. Tell all your mates.
Spoke sense, Archie. Well done, mate. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank
Come back to
you.
me in about 10 years and you can be on
These
this
are
all the
going to be
time.
like famous YouTube people in a few years, and they've started with you, so good work.
Right. Well done, Archie. Thank you very much. Oh, I cut him off. That was bad. Sorry, I didn't mean
Great
to cut him
kid.
off. I know. No, well done.
I do think you've got. Do you know when you're saying people are like joining without camera and stuff? I'm worried like it's going to be some kind of joke or something. So-
I've got if you join without a camera, I've got Kick from Studio hovering over my mouse screen.
Yeah,
in
there's
case
no
anyone,
delay.
I know, in case everyone says anything mad. There's
I'm
only one
worried
person
because,
waiting to come on. So
I should be at my NFL draft night. I've seen a few of them in the comments, so I'm delaying that for a little bit to do this. So if anyone's got any tips on that, I'll happily take them as well.
let me drop the links in. Hang on one sec. If anyone else wants to join, do jump on that link. We've got Gordon waiting to join us. I thought, I might be worried. I thought you were going to jump on and say that, you're my dad or something, Greg, and cause a real panic for you. But no, it was all proper football chat. Right, here we go. If there's any more kids who want to jump on, those two lads have done really well. And like I say, it's really brave of them. So well done to them. Right, let's bring Gordon in. Gordon, how you doing?
Hi.
You well?
Me?
Yeah, can hear you. How you doing?
All right, thank you.
What do you want to talk about for Forest and the deadline day today?
Whose dad am I?
Say again. I can't hear you, Gordon. I'm going to have to let you go if I can't hear you. Are you all right?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What do you want to say about Forest?
Right. I think we definitely need a striker.
Which one did you want? Were you gutted when Nketiah and Jimenez didn't happen?
No, I wanted Mikuto from Borussia Dortmund, actually.
Oh, the lad who went to Nice, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What do you think about the ones we've got left? Wood and Awoniyi, are they good enough or not?
No, not for the rest of the season. I don't think we can rely on both of them for the rest of the season.
I suppose Wood scored the goals last season, though. What
Yeah,
are you worried
correct.
about? Injuries?
Yes, correct, yeah.
What about the rest of the squad? How's that shaping up?
I think James Ward-Prowse is a cracking signing for the free kicks.
What about the rest of his game? Any worries about the rest of his game?
Well, when's the last time we scored a direct free kick? It was Thiago Silva against Bristol City, I think.
I think you're right, yeah. I think you're right. Whose place would he take, though, for you? Would it be Elliot Anderson? It can't be Sangare, can it?
I think he'd have to take. I personally take Sangare can play 60. He can't play 90 minutes.
No, I know he blows up after 70. To be fair, I'll bring Greg in just on Sangare. Gordon, are you worried that he can't play 90, Greg, or not?
I'm more optimistic than how he started, and he's had some good games. He's had good halves anyway, a couple of good halves. He'll play 90 eventually. He's key to this team, clearly, or he wouldn't have started the first two games. And again, it's that first couple of weeks, months in the season where you just have to give players time and they come into it. I've seen enough this season, unlike last season, to know that there's a player there and we should just keep giving him those chances.
I think so. Gordon, I'm going to let you go. We've got a couple of people waiting to jump on and the clock's ticking. But thanks
for your
very
time,
much.
chaps. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, Gordon.
Cheers, Gordon.
That Nuama thing looks confident. He's a winger, though, isn't he? Which is worrying.
I think he's one of these big things. He end up playing Scandinavia. I only did really limited research.
Yeah,
I think he went to Leon.
Norsladen.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, Leon sound a bit of a mess, don't they? I went on an Everton podcast the other day talking about Mangala going to Everton because it sounds like they've got to ship players out.
I'd have had Mangala back.
Would you have had Mangala back?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to add the next caller in. I'll probably ask that. Let's see. Hopefully this works. It's Stuart. Your mic might not work. I'll just check. I'll add you in, Stuart. If it doesn't work, actually, I'll add Elliot in, and we'll check your mic next time. Right, Elliot. It says you've chosen to mute yourself, so let's see if this works. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello,
Elliot.
Jen.
Hey, mate, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually about to go on another podcast, but then I saw this and thought, yeah, let's just jump on here.
Say, don't give another one a shout. I thought you were going to get over that block button, Matt.
Sorry, my hand's not on Kick for Studio for this one. Right, Elliot, before you say what you wanted to say, would you have taken Mangala back?
Last season, he was doing the work of 3 midfielders sometimes. And one of the best things Steve Cooper ever did was actually drop Freuler in that certain position for Mangala. So I'm going to say, due to the amount of good midfielders we've got, I'm going to say no, but I'm very grateful for his services.
And what else do you want to talk about just in general in the next few hours?
Have we talked much about Taiwo Awoniyi in this pod today?
We've said bits, but yeah, feel free. Feel free.
Well, I get a lot of flack for actually supporting the guy, but if you can just cast your mind back to the last few seasons, look up in the lineups. It was Taiwo in our squad for most of our wins, and the answer to that is yes. You know, he started against the likes of Arsenal, Aston Villa, Liverpool, all teams we were very, very unlikely to beat. So I think personally, letting him go would be very foolish. And also Sod's Law, say like he goes for a snip price to say like Everton or like Brentford for like 10 million. Sod's Law, he stays fit and he's a very prolific number 9. So that's basically my opinion on Taiwo Awoniyi.
I'm going to ask you a side question, Greg, just quickly. He mentions Brentford there. What do you think about Tony going to Saudi at this stage of his career?
Just a waste. You know, you see Morgan Gibbs-White getting into the England team and saying what a dream it is. And, you know, it's always been his aim to play for England. And the way Gibbs-White spoke, there was never even a thought of a money thing. It was just, I'd love to play for England. And Tony managed to do that. He was on the crest for being a long-term international player, and going to Saudi is money. What's he going to make? Ridiculous amounts of money, absolutely ridiculous amounts. But for a rich man, is it really everything you want? The richest man in the world still can walk around without a smile. So I don't understand it. I think it's sad that really the Premier League isn't capable enough of keeping a player like that. And that's another, whether it's the PSR things that they're getting wrong and the Saudi teams are getting on it. But you look at Ronaldo, I know he's at the end of his career, but he's scoring goals in front of like 5,000 people and you forget about him, don't you? It's not going to work. It's going to be like the Chinese Super League or anything like that goes big for a short while and it's just not sustainable. But it's a massive shame. I'm just glad he's not playing for Brentford, though. He dents them a bit, which is always a good thing.
My 2-year-old nephew is over from Australia and he's shouting very loudly. So if people can hear that, apologies. I don't think you can. Any thoughts on the winger situation or anything else, Elliot, before I let you go with Elanga? Are you caught up on the Elanga situation, or do you want me to reiterate it?
Oh, yeah, very much. I also put on Twitter today, my mum is signing as a striker and got like thousands of views, which I'm very grateful for, even though it's not true. But yeah, winger-wise, I was very impressed with obviously Jota and Ramon Sousa. I think we're all right for wingers this day and age, but I'd rather not sell Elanga. You know, his raw quality and pace, etc. So in an ideal world, I'd like to keep him, but also he could be like our 4th choice striker. It's not like he's not been a number 9 before, you know, if need be.
Right, there's a couple of people waiting. I know Stuart couldn't get in. I think what David says here, I'll put this on the screen, Stuart, in case you don't see it. You probably do need to go into app settings and permissions for it might work for your mic around StreamYard. If not, don't worry about it. We've got other people waiting to come on, but thanks for trying, Stuart. Elliot, I'll let you go because I'm going to see you tomorrow because I'm watching the game with you. So yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you, mate. Right. There goes.
They're saying Everton are going for that Nuama now as well.
Yeah, and Fulham were as well. Yeah, I don't know how much he cost. We'll do some looking and researching. After this, we're back at 9 o'clock, by the way, with Lewis is here from 9 till 11, and then Mikey, Pete, Temps, and I can hear my nephew really loudly, and someone else. Our fathers is here till 11. That's all right then. That's right. Right. We've got 20 minutes or so left. I'll drop the link in shortly, but we've got 2 more guests waiting. Dan White, how are you?
Good, thank you very much. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. What time is it where you are?
She's probably going to try and sell us an overpriced hat, Matt. Just be careful.
I've got some merch in here. It's great. Don't worry, I can. I'll drop the link in later. No, it's just about 2 o'clock on a Friday, so I'm working hard.
What do you want to tell her? What do you want to talk to us about?
What's going on with not necessarily Elanga, but just generally what we think is going to get done in the next few hours. I just see anything. I can't believe anything's been kept quiet, put it that way. So I'm assuming that anything that comes out late is potentially panicking. So I'm just wondering your thoughts on what we actually need to get done between now and the end of the day.
Do you know, on that kept quiet thing, I think we've done a much better job this year. I think it's been a lot tighter with things coming in and out of Forest. There hasn't been the rumours as such before things happen, and it's only seems to be the select few journalists that seem to get the scoop each time. But I must admit, it is nicer not to know as much.
Yeah. Well, I agree. What do I think he's doing to the end of the day? I mean, a strike is nice. If we do nothing before the end of the day, I'm not panicked. I think we've had a really strong window. If we don't do anything else, the recruitment's been really sharp. I'd rather not make a panic striker signing. I think, like you said there, Dan, anyone we sign at this stage is probably a panic buy. You know, anything can happen with the signing. Am I missing anything, Greg? I'm assuming we probably get Ward-Prowse, who I wasn't that. I'm not. I think he's like an icing on the cake kind of signing. I don't think we even necessarily massively need him. But anything I'm missing, Greg?
Oh, I think we do need him. You see our corners against Southampton.
Yeah.
And I do think there's going to be a C list and a D list that we're working through now, and we're working through until 10 p.m. when we really have to get everything submitted to get something over the line. But no, it's the striker that we may still go for that goalie, the Liverpool guy, and we'll see. There's going to be movement. There has to be. There always is.
Yeah, Mark Southerns is really keen that we buy Kelleher instead of a striker, because he thinks he'd solve our goalkeeping issues. Lewis will be on later and he'll probably tell me different. Any thoughts on goalkeepers, Dan? Any thoughts on outgoings? Any players that you feel like we need to... I mean, Matt Turner's one. Any players you think we could probably do getting rid of? We haven't really touched on that in this 45 minutes or so.
No, there's the few that I think didn't come up in the conversation earlier as to who would be in the 25. So Dennis and Mighton and Huang and others. But I think we're past the point with those that they're really going to make any difference from a PSR point of view, right? They're the last few hangers on of the bomb squad. So whether they go or not, I guess, is more beneficial to them than it is to us kind of thinking as to what it allows us to do elsewhere. So yeah, I want to try and keep hold of Elanga. I'm actually surprised, as I think a lot of people are, given the talk at the end of May, that we're sat here and there aren't more rumours circulating about Morgan Gibbs-White, Murillo, and all of those kind of players, because I think most people were resigned to the fact that we'd lose at least one of those. And obviously we did the couple of deals with Leon. So I'm just hoping that the deal that we're going to do or might do with Leon, that we're chasing with Everton and Fulham, isn't something that's a payback for that in any way. So I hope that's a good deal for us if we do manage to do it. But no, I'm pretty happy with where we are.
Just quickly before I let you go, we've got 3 more people waiting, and we'll squeeze them in. I promise. Don't worry. Let's say there's no offer. Morgan and Murillo are still here. Anthony's still here at the end of the window. Does that mean to you roughly they probably stay the whole season? Because there's always the January window, but I feel like it's unlikely that they would go in that window. It feels more like they're a big sale summer departure. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I think it's a PSR thing, right? So I can't see a reason for them to go in January, because there's still a window at the end of the season coming up that would fall into the same year as now, as we did with Niakate and Mangala. So yeah, I think I don't think we have to do much in January really in terms of outgoings, and then it just depends where we are in the league as to what else we have to do. I could see maybe if we don't sign a striker, then we're back in the market for a striker in January. Depends how Tayo and Wood do between them and if both of them can stay fit.
Yeah, I'll do some research on free transfer strikers as well. There's only like Martial and Depay that spring to mind as the kind of players that we've been attracted to previously. So interesting. Right, I'm going to let you go, Dan, because the clock's ticking. Although one of our people's just disappeared. Do come back. Was it Greg? I think Greg Winfield. Right, Dan. Thank you very much. Good to have you on.
Cheers, Dan.
Thanks. Cheers.
Right. Anything you want to add, Greg, before I bring the next caller in around this winger? Is it one too many?
Well, no. I mean, I think Everton fans are saying they've got him, and Fab's talking like we've got him. So could be an interesting one. It's clearly a certain level if there's two teams at the minute that are fighting for him. But we don't know.
No, we'll follow that. We've got a few hours to go, obviously. Right, we've got 2 callers left. The link is in. Might have time for one more. It's a little bit higher up in the chat, but let's bring Michael in. Michael, how are you doing?
Evening. Well, thanks yourself.
Yeah, good. I've enjoyed this. There was the first comment right at the top of the chat said that this would be rubbish. So I'm glad it's not been, and I've really enjoyed it.
Steve?
You've got a smart audience, clearly.
No, it's been good. It's been good. No, it wasn't Steve Allen. He hasn't fronted up, Greg, either. Did you invite him on, or did you tell him not to?
No. Oh, no. God, no. Comments would
Michael,
change after that.
Oh, God, he would make us miserable, I'm sure. Michael, what do you want to say?
Probably I think out of all the teams in this window, I think ours is probably one of the better ones across the league, to be honest. No one significant has gone out. I think a lot of teams around us, I mean, if you look at Wolves who were playing on Saturday, they've lost Kilman and seem to be a mess at the back, and we are probably not going to be in that sort of situation at the moment. I mean, if anything, we're buying, I can't remember his name, the bloke from Benfica, and we've signed a Brazilian from Porto and sent him on loan to Olympiacos. So it kind of feels like we've even got insurance for if we have to sell Murillo by the 30th of June 2025. So it feels like we've future-proofed at the back. I'm not that concerned about the strikers, if I'm being really honest, because Wood scored 14 goals last season, and from his performances so far this season, he's not looked like he's dropping off with age. There's still a question mark about Awonye, but even from the highlights against Newcastle, I saw players were bouncing off him in 50-50s. He's doing everything right other than getting a chance near the goal and sticking it in the net just to get some goal scoring morale. But I feel like with minutes, that'll be fine. Midfield, Ward-Prowse is excellent business. There's no option or obligation to buy. So we're not getting a 29-year-old on an expensive contract for 3 or 4 years. He got 7 goals, 7 assists last season, and we've got no one in the team that can take set pieces. He's going to improve on that level instantly. And if Danilo can't play until the new year, we were missing a number in midfield. He ticks that box, but if there's one extra midfielder fighting for competition in the new year, that's a nice problem to have. Fullbacks feel okay. It's interesting that we seem to have tried for a goalkeeper, and it seems like there's nothing last minute. That means we're going to really go out there and get a goalkeeper that's better than what we've got. But I think Sells is fine. I think Miguel's fine. If it becomes a problem because Southampton buying Ramsdale, that's good business. I think even Wolves getting Johnston, that's good business. Teams around us are improving gun goalkeeper positions, but I don't think we're significantly weaker than them. We've had a very good window.
Where does this squad right now, as we have it, assuming we don't sign? Let's add Ward-Prowse into it. Let's assume we sign Ward-Prowse and Morato, who might not start. Where does our squad right now finish at the end of the season, would you say, Michael?
I think it would be reasonable for the board to target anywhere in the top 15, and I'd take 15th as a good season. We'd be moving above 3 or 4 teams and not having any threat of relegation. That's steady improvement. We shouldn't think, right, push for a top 10, maybe have an outside chance of Europe. Forget about that. Make sure there's no point this season where we think we've got a concern of relegation, and that's good progress.
Sorry, I have to keep muting myself. I'll bring Greg in 1 second. I'll drop the link in. We've got time for one more person. If anyone fancies it quickly, the link is in the chat. Probably just be one more person. So Greg's got to go and I've got to go as well. But we'll be back at 9, like I say. Same question to you, Greg. This squad as it stands right now, plus Morato, plus Ward-Prowse. Where are you predicting? What have you revised your prediction?
Can't remember what I put. I'm going to say.
I think you said 12th.
Yeah, lower half of the top half of the bottom half, we'll say, which would be an incredible improvement. Just like Michael says, just not to have that relegation worry. You don't want season to get boring. So we'd have to have a good FA Cup run, but that nice mid-table steadiness. But we're clearly building something. The investment just keeps coming. We keep pushing the limits and pushing the boundaries of what we can get because we clearly want the best. And it's just growing and growing. So when I, tongue-in-cheek talk about Europe and this, that, the other, that's what the owner's thinking. He's thinking, I want to see this club in Europe. So they're going to keep building, and every transfer window we're going to be one of the most active, and we'll see it happen. And, whether it's next year, the year after, we're just going to keep climbing up that table. I truly believe that.
Let's end on a pretty ambitious note then, Michael. What qualifies as an incredible season? Is it 10th and a cup run, or is it higher than that for you?
I'd say finishing anything higher than 12th, getting an away win at a Big Six club and getting to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, or just a chance to go to Wembley, because I know we got close against Liverpool 3 years ago, but something around a marker of that sort of cup run would be good again.
Excellent. Right, we'll let you go. We've got one more caller lined up. Good points made there, Michael. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Right, last caller. I think this will be Greg. How you doing, Greg Winfield?
Yeah, mate. You all right?
You well?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, good. I've enjoyed this. We've got a couple of minutes where we have to go. What do you want to say about the transfer window? Anything about the Wolves game? Anything you like about Forest?
I think we really do need another striker with Taiwo's fitness being in question, and Ward. He is a good striker, and he has, under Nuno, he has scored goals. But I do think we need an extra one, just in case.
How many Premier League teams do you think Wood and Taiwo get in? Out of the other 19, how many of the others would they get in, do you think?
I'd say Wood would probably get in 5, and Taiwo would probably... Pardon?
Yeah, how many for Taiwo?
Taiwo, when he's fit, he could probably get into 9 or 10. He could be up there if he was fit and proved himself.
What about the rest? What about the rest of the squad? Before I have to let you go in the next couple of minutes, how do you feel about the rest of the squad?
I think the rest of the squad's fine. I think we've got decent goalkeepers, maybe one short with Turner going, but that's not a big miss. But I think we would have been better with an extra keeper for cover. Defence, fine. Midfield, definitely fine. And wingers, after this window, fantastic. But it's just the striker that concerns me.
Excellent. Right, Greg, I'm going to let you go. I'm sorry to keep you short, but I know Mitchell's got to go, and I've got to go shortly as well. But thank you for jumping on. Thanks for being the last.
Cheers,
Greg. Right, thank you.
Much appreciated. Cheers, mate. Right. Just before we go, by the way, 600 people are with us, which I really appreciate. And like I say, I think this has been really good. We'll do it again. This is the second time we've done it. Do us a favour, though. Hit like on the video. If you're not already subscribed, do subscribe. That'd be great. Do consider becoming a channel member. Give us a review on iTunes. Do go down the nav before or after the Wolves game and enjoy the win, the Oasis and gig, the pre-match build-up. Enjoy the whole lot. I'm waffling. Greg Mitchell, any final thoughts before we go? How are you feeling about the next few hours? Excited or panicked?
Excited about the next few hours, panicked about getting an Oasis ticket in the morning. Thanks to nobody for giving me any NFL tips for my fantasy team this evening as well. So I was relying on you guys for that.
Yeah, if anyone's got any, you've got about 60 seconds. I have no idea about any NFL player.
No, I'm excited. I just think there's going to be that surprise signing. And what have we got? 4 hours? Is it 4? 5 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours.
It's going to go to the wire, and then something will happen. And the key thing is, like I've said all along, we've kept hold of our key players, and when people have come in, we've battered them off straight away, and we've sold some players for absolutely superb money, so that shouldn't be forgotten.
Striker we've heard of, or some completely random name? Will that be the
Random
shock?
name. Random name. YouTube will look incredible, but it'll be exciting.
What's the fee going to be?
Well, we want to spend 30 million. We'd die to spend this 25 million that we keep offering everyone, and no one will take it. So I'm going to say striker, not European based, obviously now, because it's we'd have heard if they were coming over from South America, but European based striker. 20
I look
million.
forward to seeing us sign a 19-year-old European-based striker who's played 3 first-team games and is the next big thing for 25 million. That's Greg's prediction. I'm more chilled, but it's good fun to end on a speculative note. Thank you very much, Emily, for the 199. Then Nketiah, he's not going to Crystal Palace. Has that not happened? Jump in on that. I'd be all over
here
that.
we go. I didn't say anything bad about him, did I, earlier? I think I said it'd be great to sign.
I mean, I'm getting, probably respectfully, Emily, you might not be right. I hope you, but I'd be interested in that. I saw there was a tweet saying that Eze convinced him to sign for them over us, so he's on the shit list, I guess. So yeah, right. There was an NFL name as well, who I don't know who they are.
No, they weren't. I think they were James Ward-Prowse. Oh yeah, Caleb Booms. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a wide receiver first. But
you do that. You do that.
Right. I can't see anything about Nketiah, but
no.
Scoop if so.
Exactly. But very grateful for the 199, Emily. Appreciate that. I appreciate everyone who's jumped on tonight. Appreciate people who signed up for membership. Well done to the 2 young lads, especially. Well done to everyone who comes on, because it does take nerve to come on, but especially the 2 young lads, Joseph and Archie. Thought they did really well, and we might see them again in future. But yeah, Greg Mitchell, thank you very much.
Thank you. I've enjoyed that. Yeah, it's worked really well, hasn't it? Should do more of them.
We'll do it again. We will be back at 9 p.m. in 2 hours. So we'll kick off. Lewis is here for the duration. It's Pete and Mikey from 9 till 10. And then it's Temps and Fothers who are here till 11. And then we'll just wrap up, reflect on the window, and then we'll maybe chat a little bit about the Wolves game. But in the meantime, thank you very much. If we don't see you later tonight, we shall see you soon.